A comments video. Yay. Yeah, I just hate everybody. Mostly. Fix my hair. It's supposed to be important somehow. Anyway, it's just, everything's just so horrible. Anyway, so, making video. Alright, the morbid atheist. We'll start here. Anyway. We managed to pass instant runoff voting in Maine. Yeah, whoop-de-doo. Now we are working on getting it passed in Massachusetts, and I'm working on getting it passed in Rhode Island. Right, it's a good thing, but it's, it needs to be done federally. I mean, obviously the most important place it needs to exist is in the presidential election. That's where all this party stuff really starts to matter. But anyway, Bernie never said or alleged that money comes from nowhere. The point, I never said he said it. I said he acts as if it does. He doesn't account for its origins at all. He says things like, well, education is going to be free. It is not free. I don't know why you keep overstating his argument. I keep pointing out the fact that he's not at all fiscally responsible. He's just like the rest of this just keep borrowing the money bullshit. He knows that most wealth is distributed to the 1%, and again, I just don't see him attacking that. You got to get that first. Before you talk about doing anything else, you have to get that actually passed. And that's the ambitions. You don't talk about all this other spending crap until you get the job done of making the distribution of wealth better. And you're not going to change the distribution of wealth by attacking businesses and by attacking people earning an income rather than people who've inherited an income. And that the working people are the ones creating tangible value. The free rhetoric can be easily replaced with the words socialized, with the word socialized. Well, why would you want to replace it with another bad word? I'm just saying, if this is what you think is good for the Democratic Party, then I think you're going to be the cause of its failure, because these are words that just don't work anymore. People are sick of socialized everything, and especially socialized everything with a deficit that just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And it's just kind of bullshit to talk about socialized everything in an economy where the rich are getting richer and the working class are all working for $10 an hour. Somebody earning $10 an hour has a legitimate resentment that somebody on welfare is probably making $30 an hour for sitting on their ass. That's the reality. You make more money on welfare than you're going to make going to work, and that's a problem. And Bernie doesn't address that with anything but, let's give him more money. Funding for public roads and fire departments is socialized, isn't it? Yeah, well, that's not the subject. The subject is socialized baby making, the idea that somehow people are entitled to come to this country and go on welfare. You don't get how somebody who goes to work would resent that. Well, okay. You must know that before Reagan, most public university tuition was covered by the government. Well, not most. So, again, public university. Well, the whole idea of a public university that's a for-profit institution anyway is kind of disgusting. The fact that they spend in this state, Rutgers, spent $2 million on a stupid football coach. $2 million a year. That's bad business, in my opinion. I mean, that's a bad thing for the public to be subsidizing football fucking playing. Fuck that shit. I'd gladly pay a few bucks out of my paycheck towards socialized education. Well, you are paying it, but the point is you're paying when you get yourself a place to live. You'll find out, more directly when you own a house. But renters are paying it now. It's just a hidden.
Welcome to this edition of What the Fuck Happenings.
Where the fuck is that coming from?
Area.
I don't know. That keyboard is a little bit wacky. It's not wireless or anything. I don't know. Picking up signals from somewhere. Apparently the other computer has the what the fuck on it still. Anyway, I guess. All right, I'd gladly pay a few bucks out of my paycheck check towards socialized education. Well, again, you can say this. I'd gladly blah blah blah. I'm just saying that property taxes in not rich towns, or in New Jersey, are hitting like $6 grand a year. At $10 an hour, you can't pay the property taxes, let alone start paying for somebody to go to college. Because we are going to get tenfold of that investment in the future when we have educated populace. Well, again, that's your understanding of how the world's changing. In my opinion, that's not how the world's changing. People are yet less and less useful, and they're going to keep getting less useful, and especially when they have very unuseful education. So if you want to sit there and say, yes, free scientific education, that might be a reasonable argument to make. Free, yes. If you want to go to school and learn physics, chemistry, biology, you want to go to be a doctor, yeah, let's pay for that. But let's not pay for this fucking bullshit educations. The more educated the populace, the less it breeds. Well, those numbers are a little bit tricky, and that has more to do with high school education, not college education. We paid for GI bills back in the day, and no one complained about that. Well, I'm sure some people did complain about it. And clearly it was a different kind of America, right? It's after the war we were all making big money rebuilding the rest of the world. So let's not pretend we're in the same position that we were back then, because we're not in anything like the same position. It's an entirely different position. The world has entirely changed, and reality is entirely different. And so no point in making these comparisons to what was, because we don't live in what was. All right. Complain about that. Soldiers were able to come back from the war, go to college, get high-paying jobs. Well, again, you could get a high-paying job without college back then. So let's not get again, you could make $40 or $50 an hour as a union guy in a car plant. You didn't need any hugely specialized skills. Spend dollars and stimulate the economy. Well, again, if you think this stimulus thing is a reality, that there's actually some way you can stimulate the economy other than creating low-paying wages to compete with Chinese workers, then I think you're delusional. You're not going to create anything stimulus-wise that is anything good for anything called an economy, because all the work will be make work rather than real work. It won't be productive. And even if we don't make higher education completely socialized, that doesn't mean we can't make it a lot more affordable than it is now. Well, I've already argued for the fact that it could be free, but that's going to mean unemploying a lot of people, the teachers. We don't need them anymore. They're redundant performance artists, and they're really virtually killing people with their nonsense. This idea of an automatic pay increase because they show up for work. Nobody gets that anymore. Okay, that's got to go. You got to have some sort of performance enhancement to justify salary increases. You just don't show up for a job boxing at the grocery store, and as long as you're doing it for 30 years, you get to have to make $50,000 a year. Because you've been there. I mean, some, pushing carts at the grocery store, you can't afford to pay people $50 grand a year to do that just because they showed up for work every day. And the teachers' union is an appalling, disgraceful racket. Paying people $153,000. That's how much one of the 6th grade teachers here gets paid. $156,000 to teach 6th grade. And she's like 97. She, probably doesn't even know what a computer is. You know damn well that high education corresponds to less breeding. Well, again, I know more. The correlation between less breeding and high school education is even more dramatic. Every single poll, even right before the election, showed Bernie clobbering Trump by 10 to 20 points. Well, guess what? He didn't debate Trump. Hillary had to do that. Bernie Sanders wasn't in the presidential debate, and he would have had answers to the questions that were important in this election that were worse than Hillary's. Okay, so on the two big subjects, if you could call them big subjects, let's call it fiscal responsibility, which was like a minor one compared to the immigration subject. On the immigration subject, Bernie's answer would have been worse than Hillary's. He was even more for immigration. He was even more for paying them welfare. He was disgraceful, pitiful on the subject. And then he was no good on the war either, which makes him even more of a loser. If Bernie Sanders had to debate Trump, he would have lost every debate, because every time the immigration subject came up, he would have had this stupid, idiotic answer. Yeah, let's just let them all in and pay them money for just being alive. And all those guys making $10 an hour can pay for that. Many people voted dump because he wasn't Hillary and Bernie won Michigan in the primary. Well, again, means absolutely nothing. Okay, because both Hillary and Bernie had the same dumb answer. If Hillary would have been anti-immigration, Bernie would have lost Michigan, and you know it, in the primary. Hillary would have killed him. Because guess what? It's the only subject in this election. And the Democrats had a terrible answer, which was, I don't know, just, they're people, yeah, I guess, just let them in, and yeah, I guess we have to give them health insurance, and yeah, I guess we have to give them all that stuff you have to pay for, so yeah, I guess that's how it's going to work. Yeah, no, sorry. The state that Hillary lost, same as West Virginia. Hillary barely won Illinois by 2.2 in the primary. Well, again, Bernie, if he would have had to run against Trump, in the sense that if he would have had to debate him, and people would have known Bernie for what he was, which was, yes, let all the immigrants you can find in the country. He thought Obama deported too many people. Bernie would give all the illegals right now citizenship. Give them a 4-month little plan. Don't bother speaking English, because we don't bother with that anymore here. Fuck you, this is bullshit. Bernie was no solution. These are just some of the indicators that Bernie could, and I bet would have, won some of the Rust Belt states in general. Well, I bet he wouldn't have as soon as he opened his mouth on the subject of immigration. And as soon as he started talking about more of this, let's have another government program to pay for more stuff for free, because it's all free, right? Again, this is the argument isn't that it would be nice to have a civilization that wasn't built around rich people, okay? But that's the first thing you have to do. You actually have to you have to get the check before you can cash the check, or however you want to put it. But the first priority is to fix the economic structure, not to keep promising and then keep borrowing. Fuck. All right. Anyway, so this Maximilian Robespierre guy. Gary, I posted a video on my channel to you. Yeah, I responded to it in another video, so I already did this. I don't know if you were able to see it because it blocked me or blah blah blah. No, you're not blocked. Blah blah blah. I saw the video. I responded to another video. I don't know what video it was in, but I answered your question, which was, I thought, a kind of a silly question anyway. Why doesn't Ethylism work? Can I think of any reasons why it's a stupid philosophy? Well, no, I can't think of any reasons why it's a stupid philosophy. So yeah, I mean, but I answered your video. Sorry, but I mean, it really isn't worth all this attention you're trying to make me give to it. It seems a silly question to ask somebody, what don't you like about your philosophy that you like? I mean, I suppose the only thing I don't like about it is the fact that it's hard to persuade people they're addictive cunts. But that's not the problem with the philosophy. That's a problem with the stupid cunts. Regarding Sanders, I think most people undervalue his calling attention to the relationship between wealth and one's ability to influence government. Well, see, that's another subject where it's just another loser. I mean, all these asshole Democrats who think money's the problem in politics. They think they can fix it. Oh, we're going to take the money out by publicly financing. That means we'll give the network television channels and all the rest of them a big, huge pile of advertising money to put a bunch of 20-second ads on or 30-second ads on. If that's the kind of politics you want, that's the thing that's corrosive. So the very fact that these idiots need to win elections based on making these pitifully simplistic 20-second arguments or 30-second arguments is something you find deplorable in the first place. The very fact that your candidates have to do all this negative campaigning because they don't have a winning argument. So they can't make a fucking argument. And they demonstrate that. It's all this wishy-washy crap. I mean, Hillary Clinton said nothing. Donald Trump said nothing. Hours of debating. They didn't say a goddamn thing that made any goddamn sense. And it's warning that we are at risk of our society developing to the point where we will be ineffective, impossible to compete with the influence held by the wealthy ruling class over the structuring of government. No, know what the problem is all you naysayers and nitpickers. As soon as somebody comes up with an answer, you don't want to hear it. And here you got a fucking icon of a fucking pit bull, for fucking goddamn sake. I mean, you're all just so fucking retarded. You just can't admit when something's stupid and broken. Pit bulls are stupid and broken. You assholes it's just as stupid. I mean, it's an ugly, stupid dog, for fuck's sake. I mean, it's just no reason there should be fucking 10 million pit bulls in America. Except people are idiots. Let's buy the stupid, broken kind of dog. I mean, you people don't want a solution. You want somebody to tell you that you can have everything and it's free. To me, that was an important enough common ground not to be dismissive of him as a valuable representative. I mean, sorry. If you think that's all that we need, then you're pretty pitiful, okay? We need somebody to tell us that having money means you have influence. Yeah, duh. But what are you going to do about it? It's not a goddamn thing. If you want to have a country that says free speech, guess what? If somebody wants to use their money to speak, they can do it. And you're not going to be able to pass a law that's going to stop them. Idiots. Alright, I'd like to hear your personal story. Fuck that. And see me, fuck that, Gary. You've been waiting for you mention my name, mention the name, but you avoid it in fear. G-Man. Who the fuck is G-Man? Fuck, I don't even know who this G-Man. What the fuck is a G-Man? Some kooky religious kook? Fuck you. Ugh. Anyway. And not even a reference to simians in the Bible. Again, just jokes. I show your videos with people more concerned with superficiality. Yeah, well, they're more concerned with being arrogant, ignorant cunts. Okay, they don't want to do any of the work to understand anything. They just form a fucking opinion based on whether somebody's hair, based on their hair color, whether they have a beard, whether they have a wart on their face. They don't care. They just find some stupid thing and make a judgment based on that, and then say, "Gee, I have a worthwhile opinion." I mean, people are just stupid, ignorant shithole fucking talking. They just talk, and they haven't done the necessary process of thinking before they open their gob and think about what the implications of what they're defending is. Let's see. So I work and stay home. Yeah, finding a job at home is tricky business, though. Let's see. Dino, I don't know. Trump does not approve. Tell your anxiety you need to work. Whatever. Phoenix just saying, you fucking cunt. Just a superb job. I work, sit here in the basement, watch children play outside through my glory hole. I don't know. People are even, I can't make sense out of commenters. Do not impose. That's not normal, but do as you wish. I grieve for this place every single day. That's not normal, but do as you wish. Well, that's not an answer to the fact that you sadistic lunatics are sadistic lunatics. That's why the person's grieving, you idiot. Your response of do as you please is just idiotic. It's not rational. It's like saying during the German Holocaust, the German imposed Holocaust, oh, nothing to see there. Don't let it upset you. Yeah, it's cunts like you that make the world suck. Let's see. People are stunningly stupid. Yeah, we know that. I think you're nice as well. Who cares? Can someone, maybe you, Gary, give me a background on your channel? You have sad social anxiety. Yeah, I really wouldn't call it social anxiety. It's a little more complicated than that. I have life issues. I just, I don't like being alive. And to heroin church, who cares? And man, geez, well, I kind of already talked to her. Let's see, and I'm still ducking G-Man. Again, who the fuck is G-Man? What is a G-Man? Who cares about whatever a G-Man? Anything called a G-Man is not worth talking to. Let's see, a personal example. I don't think I'm depressed, but I don't see any reason to continue living. Yes, likewise. I have a life of physical pain which is not treatable, and other physical problems that are just relentless. I'm 53 and not, which is not a bad age. The only thing that stops me committing suicide is my partner says I'm being selfish, leaving her and my 2 grown sons. Well, I put both of them through college, which is a lot more than I got. Yeah, well, I'd agree that I don't. The very fact that somebody would, guilt you into living is kind of yuck. It's not very nice. I can understand it if you're really totally dependent on somebody, but I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Oh, here's this Phoenix thing again. The only women with actual sex drive should answer questions about sex drives. I wouldn't want to hear about sex issues from frigid men either. Well, whatever, who cares what you want. So for the people that are just checking this out, are you trying to argue that people who want to die should have a method to that end through public service, as in offered by the government? No. They should have a right to buy it, just like you buy an appendix operation or a heart bypass or an abortion. If we can kill fetuses, if we have a right to kill a fetus, you certainly should have a right to kill yourself, for fuck's sake. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just basically saying I'm just doing the abortion rather late, okay? Because, I knew it was the right thing, it just never got around to it, or something like that. And certainly the fetus should have a right to self-abort. I'm just so sick of people, offered by the government. It's a right, for fuck's sake. I want the right to legally buy the $5 worth of chemicals to do it the right way. Shit, is that complicated, you dumb fuck? No, it's not complicated. You're just evading the subject. Typical bullshit. Okay, so I read you're a neo-Nazi. Well, whatever. I don't know what you're reading exactly. Where did you read it? You could put that in there somewhere. What the fuck? Say it isn't so. Why, I have to defend myself against everything you read somewhere? Fuck. And a Holocaust denier? Question mark? Yeah, that's right. That's why I went to court. Okay, to sue a guy for putting a fucking swastika on my shoulder and a Star of David behind me. That's why I sued him. It's because I'm a Holocaust denier. Jesus fuck. Say it isn't so. I was reading BS. Why do I have to do that? I mean, realistically. Especially when you don't even reference where you read this shit. I'm going to say it's not true. It just wouldn't make any sense. Well, that's a little bit logical. A little bit. But you'd think if they said it, they would have given you references to where they can prove it. And then you could have looked it up yourself and found out, oh, yeah, I should go based on what I say, not what somebody else says I said. Because those aren't the same fucking thing. Alright. Brett Keenan, Anima, fucking bullshit, who cares? It's me. Let's see. Okay, but kids aren't able to make decisions for themselves. That's why they need their parents. Oh, brother. My boy touched a hot oven when his mom was watching him. He didn't know he didn't want you touch it until the pain came. These are the people raising kids. So no kids shouldn't be allowed. That's a double negative, buddy. Hate to inform you. To choose death for themselves. Frankly, I'm scratching my head at that. Well, you probably spend half your time scratching your head and scratching your ass, and that's about it, right? Sorry, but, you know, this is just, remember, right, it's written like Homer Simpson wrote it or something, and you're just demonstrating the whole problem. Your kid's probably smarter than you are, you know, now. I mean, maybe at 5 he wasn't. But again, you don't get the point, right? You make a decision, you give life to something, and then you just assume it's as dumb as you. That, yeah, it wants to do whatever you do. You don't even have a reasonable icon. Little happy faces. Faces in random positions with baby arms and shit. So you think somebody's going to come to fucking Earth and say, oh shit, that's my parents. My parents are fucking retarded. And they should feel good about it? No, they have a right to say, oh, fuck this. A game run by these idiots? No, thank you. And, you know, again, the world is a sack of stinky, stenchy shit. And you stupid fucking cunts think, oh yeah, I'll go lay some eggs on the shit. Because my little maggot will love it. Ugh, fuck you. Alright. So I'm done with that. I guess I have some time left over. I guess we might as well go do some Piroing, right? Yeah, Piro's an idiot. So I got some more of that John Plant guy to go through. Yes, Piro's such a liar. I don't even know. He's just a despicably horrible liar. Constantly lying about people. Despicable, horrid, awful liar. I should have fixed this. Usually I put it, use the other mode. See, well, maybe I'll do it. It won't take that much time. Whoops. I shouldn't have done that. So you gotta kill 2 healthy cats. It doesn't start till about here. Alright, so what you can do, which is kind of cool, is you take the watch out of here. Yeah. I guess I can cut it out. And then you take the equals out of here. And you put a // in there. I think that's how it works anyway. And yeah, it should play the video where you can adjust the size to the size of the window, which is fairly cool. So when the video plays, you'll see it'll get the size of the window. See that? Yay! Pretty smart.
All right.
A little bit smart.
Well, I saw Gary.
Okay.
I saw that Gary. I was watching Gary make a video.
I was watching him make a video, and then he didn't make a video.
And then he started to say,
and then he was going to say,
something,
Piro's a douchebag. Yes, I was going to talk about how you're an asshole.
He was
okay, so we'll go back here.
And that's the thing about Gary. Gary said, oh, a very serious question. And he said that when he was strong of will, at one point, yeah, he killed 2 healthy cats. Had them put to sleep. I assume he means,
yeah, I assume. I assume that's exactly what I said. That I had them put to sleep. I don't think I said I killed them, but whatever.
But I don't know. But and it's like this angel of mercy stuff, you know. And to me, like that puts a realism on it of no, that's wrong. That's just morally wrong.
Right, it's morally wrong to prevent a dumb animal from needlessly getting sick and then waiting till it's too late and then having it put to sleep. Because the dumb animal isn't doing something that's been going on for 4 billion years. A stupid, redundant, idiotic chasing of a stupid meal and chasing of some comfort. You know, trying to fix some sort of pain or misery it has, especially as they get older. And you think it's you because you know that life is good. You know it. You know it for a certainty. It's a good thing. Things must be alive because it serves some sort of purpose and you know it. No. I don't think you do know it. I don't think you know what risk is because that's why you've failed to understand it and failed to appreciate the danger of it. Even after it's massacred you, you stupid cunt.
This is a guy that's morally berating everybody. just like he's
So he keeps using the word, like, and I've made so many videos saying, well, look, if you're gonna make arguments about this crap, then you make arguments based on rational terminology. You don't use words like morality. This isn't about morality. This is about value and utility and ethics. So make a value argument, explaining what value is lost, and explain how whatever the value of what I'm saying is being gained, which is unnecessary sickness and unnecessarily miserable death, isn't worth anything. Go ahead and explain how that's not worth anything. You, the person who's never died yet.
morally superior. And he's saying that when he's at his moral peak, he would put two healthy cats to sleep.
Yes, when I'm rational, okay, and I'm not emotional, and I'm not caught up in my own emotional limitations. That's right, when I can rationally look at it, I can understand that these animals, you're not doing them a favor by, keeping them in the fight. Okay, it's like a boxing match or something. I'm the corner man. I'm not doing my guy a favor by, patching him up and fixing him up and go out there and kill him, Rocky. No, I'm not doing him any fucking favor. There's no game to play here. There's nothing to be won. There just isn't. There's just another need to be gratified. And we've only been there and done that a zillion, quadrillion, bazillion times since dinosaurs. I mean, we have eaten each other and shit each other over and over again. And it's time for rational people to say, no mas, man. No fucking mas.
And when he's not, then he will just scritch him.
What does scritch him mean? What the fuck is that? He would just scritch them. What does that mean? I feed them? What's scritching?
And that seems terribly, terribly wrong. And
No, it's terribly, terribly wrong is to pretend you're doing an animal a favor by putting it in a cage, tormenting it, cutting its nuts off, and then tormenting it some more, and then throwing it back on the street. That's cruel. That's disgusting.
I think this is what's wrong about, it seems to be to advocate for life. And that things...
Yeah, whatever. You don't advocate because you don't do it in any kind of rational manner. And I'll get to that in my next question video, where I'll give you a preview. The question is going to be one I've asked over and over again, one of the questions. So how many lion cubs have to die for there to be one mature adult lion? It's 10 now. So 10 little cubs have to get killed by cobras, or killed by infections, or killed by hyenas, eaten alive perhaps, horribly die, to have one mature lion. So how big a number do I make before you say lions aren't worth it? How much pain and suffering and misery has to be endured? How many children must die for every adult successful life? For you to say that's too many. How many does it have to be? How many?
Can live. It's been put on those of us that might try to do that we have to prove life is good by some definition, some satisfactory definition. And I don't think that's true. First of all, I don't have to prove that you should live.
Well, again, the point is if you're going to make what's called an argument, that means you're going to have some sort of evidence or reasoning in your argument. So if you're saying, I don't have to have reasoning in my argument, I can just go to court and say, my guy's innocent. The end. I don't really have an argument to make. Again, obviously neither one of us can prove the outcome, okay, but I'm going to argue that I'll tell you the truth, okay, that this biological function thing has nothing spiritual about it, okay? There's no shamans, there's no shape-shifting, there's not even any of your quantum bullshit. Okay, it's a mechanical universe. It made these little monsters here on this planet, these little consuming monsters. And it ended up being on an island. The Earth was an island. And the little things ended up eating each other. And it just became carnage for the sake of carnage. And yes, the sooner you eradicate it, the better. The more it's the rational and humane and decent thing to do is to put these addictive little heroin chasers out of their fucking misery. And in the end, that's the truth of it. Now, you believe in some sort of special purpose for these little fucking parasitic monsters. I say bullshit. And here you're glorifying your own parasitism. The question is, why? What is a pet anyway? Pets are just slaves to your needs. They're not slaves to some real need. They're just slaves to fucking needs you've contrived. Okay, in your eccentricity, you've made all kinds of sublimations. So instead of killing your own kids, you're going to torment a pet. To serve your own purposes, to be a slave to your emotional needs.
Right. And with this angel of mercy stuff, a lot of times, like, it's not a suicide cult that's come up in the past. Because we don't, I don't believe in suicide. I in Menham don't believe in suicide. So that's not that. Shut up, fucktard. But the thing is,
I don't even know what, again, this is comprehensible to somebody. What the fuck did he just say? Jeez. And the stupid angel crap. This has nothing to do with being an angel of mercy or anything like that. It has to be about what's the right thing to do, period. What's the right thing for the frickin' animals? The animals don't need what you need. They don't live for the future. They don't live for the past. They don't have to think about the context. They've never eaten of the tree or the fruit of good and evil. They don't need this shit. It's what you need. And that's all you're talking about. It's what you want the universe to be. Not what it is. It's what you want it to be. And that's all you're rationalizing. You're just making excuses for your own delusional perception of the necessity of something. And once you're... if I could actually kill you and then put you in space somewhere to watch the spectacle on Earth when you're not playing... I think your attitude might change. So if I get rid of all your heritage, I just end your bloodline entirely, so you have no personal investment in the human race anymore, and then you watch the debauchery from afar, I think you might have a more enlightened perspective and be able to say, gee, it really isn't accomplishing anything. They're just tormenting each other.
Maybe you should be a suicide cult. Because if you truly believe in killing innocent, healthy creatures... against their will.
Again, so where do you come up with that? Against their will. So you think they have an informed judgment. You think they know what their life is. So if I stopped a lion from killing a gazelle, I violated its will. I haven't violated its complete ignorance. No, not at all. I haven't done something it would probably do itself if it could know better. No, I violated its will. Oh, fuck you.
Like some Nazi killing the mentally handicapped for their own good, and their life's terrible.
Oh, so again, it's somehow for my own good. So somehow you perverted this into somehow I did it for my own good.
Well, I wouldn't want to be them, would you? No. So that's sympathy.
Well, whether that's that's a rational statement, actually. So that's not necessarily for their own good, beyond the fact that they're using their rational judgment and say, "There for the grace of God go I." I mean, if this is going to be part of the game, then yeah, I wouldn't play the game either.
That's a demented kind of sympathy, and so I don't really have to prove life is good per se. I think first of all, the human brain wants to.
You do have to make an argument. Okay, and the human brain wants. So now we have this automatically. The human brain wants something. Okay, the wants aren't a combination of biological constructs that don't have anything to do with real value. And then the one part of our brain that can do that, this thinking part that's based on a symbolic representational language. And now we're just going to say, well, fuck what you know. Fuck the smart part. Just keep listening to your heart or your penis or your stomach. And don't pay any attention to the truth. Yeah, fuck you, imbecile.
Find a middle ground where it measures not good enough and, wow, that's great. Better than I expected. It wants to find that. That's why rich kids and people that are pampered in Mendham, right? Spoiled Mendham kids.
Right, and I could just say that about you. When have you lived in the ghetto, asshole? Alright, I've lived in numerous different places. I didn't grow up entirely in Mendham. So again, just keep making it personal, you stupid cunt. And that's all you are, a stupid fucking cunt. An ignorant, stupid cunt who can't make a real argument.
They have it so good, that they find their depth, up here. Down here are people that are trying to get away from a war zone.
Yeah, well, right. They have it so good, okay? I started working when I was 11 years old delivering newspapers. That meant every afternoon after school I had to spend an hour and a half walking with 45 pounds of newspapers hanging around my neck. Alright, so where other kids went out and did fun, I had to go to work every fucking day. Okay? 6 days a week. Fuck you in the ass till dead. Alright? For like 73 cents a day.
Fuck them. Kill the cats, then it's the cats that know how to enjoy themselves. You telling me if you just kept 2 cats, they wouldn't enjoy themselves, their life?
Yeah, you go ahead and you try that, okay? I'll tell you what you do. You go ahead and try to feed 2 cats outside, let's say. And then you'll see how many cats show up. And then you'll see the dilemma. That this problem is a problem nobody's fixing. There's a huge consequence to you life supporters. You life supporters create a consequence, and then you take no responsibility for it. It's like the assholes who introduced bears back into New Jersey. Did you do the bears a favor? No, the bears don't live very long because every year they have to get shot. They shoot a few of them. It's like the deer population. The average lifespan of the deer is 3 years. Their natural lifespan is 12, right? They only get 3. Alright, because they have to be culled every fucking year. So you don't take any responsibility for what the end result is of your stupid, idiotic, fake life support. You don't take any responsibility for what it means, asshole. It's a risk equation, and you just keep opening the door to the risk, and you don't take any responsibility for it.
Oh no, one day they would have a bad day, and they would get hit by a truck. And it would take 8 hours for them to die, and it would be terrible. I've been through bad things. It did not...
Yeah, therefore you can tell everybody else what it's worth. Okay, I've been through some bad things, and I have a completely different opinion than you. I don't think it's worth it, not even close to worth it. Alright, and especially to die horribly. Like I said, you can say 8 hours, well, what if it's 8 days? What if you're a fucking raccoon, you got hit by a car? As I had to put one of those, I had to do the Angel of Mercy thing with one of those once, okay, in the woods. Alright, now you got 3 broken legs. Yeah, why don't you tell me about how wonderful it is, fuckhead? Fuck you. Get what you fucking deserve.
Make everything else unworthwhile. I have seen death, and it didn't make the living part seem dead. It just gets stuck in your mind, at least.
Yeah, okay, fine. Again, so you're a sadistic asshole. What can I say? Fine, you've seen it and it doesn't bother you. You're a sadistic asswipe. Got it.
Decency to say, well, this is how it affects me. Yeah, well, you should work on that. There's techniques.
No, you should work on it, asshole. You should fucking work on it, asshole. You Frankenstein monster maker. Okay, you sit there and you make the goddamn mess and you're not even humble after you fucked it up. You did your Frankenstein experiment, you fucked it up entirely, and you're still no humility whatsoever. None whatsoever. You didn't learn a motherfucking thing. You're cruel jackass. You're a reckless, cruel, stupid fuck.
PTSD, and even if you can't, because I certainly can't get some images from my life, from all throughout my childhood. Well, I think you can find that you don't have to. Life, your memory is what you retain of your past life. And you can't handle your memories.
Yeah, why should you have to? You go ahead and handle. You can do this, you can do that. That's fine for you. Impose it on your fucking self, asshole. You still don't get it. You still think you have a right to take the risk with somebody who doesn't want it. You have a right to throw them in your trunk, okay, and abuse them any way you choose because you all think you're having a good time. So you just don't give a shit about the ones who don't want what you're imposing, asswipe.
Without seeing your grandmother on her deathbed to say goodbye to her the last time should not erase, as I did. And I sat there and I cried, and I have a very strong memory of it. And she just looked terrible.
And so you just played a little mental game with yourself and pretend, I'm not seeing nothing. I'm just going to pretend this dying part isn't part of the real story. Okay. Yeah, I don't do that. Sorry. Yeah, I'm not a delusional religious kook. I don't whitewash reality.
Weak and about to go. And I didn't forget how she was the rest of the time. But anyway, back to this killing 2 cats.
So again, everything he knows dies in 4 hours, apparently. So yeah, they don't spend years with Alzheimer's. They don't spend, you don't spend hours and hours and hours trying to comfort somebody who's inconsolable. No, none of that happens for months or years of your life. So he doesn't have any of those real experiences. He's never seen somebody who's, bandaged up for years, bed sores for years. No. Not part of his reality. Everybody dies in 4 hours.
I think that a way to argue for why you should embrace and want to live life is so you don't murder any cats.
It's about imposing, you jackass. That's what it's about, okay? And your ownership, your entitlement to own means that other people have an entitlement to create. So you just keep feeding the engine. And you keep taking no responsibility for the refuse that I have to take care of for 35 fucking years. You don't take any responsibility for the liabilities of your bullshit.
Any innocent cats, cats perfectly capable of being happy. And yeah, cats perfectly capable of being happy if you let them out in the woods.
Yeah, right. So you're saying it's okay to take a cat that's lived with somebody for, say, 12 years in a certain circumstance. They die, and so now you're going to take that cat and you're going to traumatize it by forcing it to live with somebody it might not want to live with in a location it doesn't want to live in, where it might just run away and try to get back home again and then die out in the woods. So all of these risk scenarios you'll take no responsibility for because you're just going to pretend it'll all be okay. And the reality is it won't be okay. A 12-year-old cat is not very adoptable. There's kittens that can't get adopted right now. I'm dealing with that right the fuck now. And know what their plan is? Again, their plan is so that they have this, we rescue everybody, no kill. You know what their plan is? You take them to this shelter and they stay in a cage for 3 weeks at the shelter, right? And then when they're doomed to get killed, the rescuers come in and they rescue them, right? And then they take them to a new location for 2 weeks, okay? And then they go right back to the shelter again because they're not adoptable. And so they just keep moving the cage's location, all right? And then eventually somebody gets enough money to cut its nuts off, right? Or to sterilize it. And then they throw it on the street to die in 3 years. What a fucking brilliant plan. No, it sucks as a plan. It absolutely sucks. And it's all you panacea. Oh, life is fluffy clouds. It's all wonderful and fine. It'll all be great. We don't kill anything. We just torment it, torture it, okay, and then kill it. Because it's the same thing. Throwing an animal on the streets is the same thing as killing it. Yes, it just takes longer. But it's the same fucking thing. It's just more sadistic and less decent. Cunts.
And when something would take them out, some sickness, yeah, maybe they'd have 5 or 6 months of the sickness coming in. And maybe, half of that.
Yeah, maybe that. And I'll just say it's all okay because it's okay with me. I don't mind being sick for 5 months. I don't mind brain tumor. I don't mind this. I don't mind that. Fuck you and what you don't mind. I do mind. It offends my consciousness to think that you assholes will sit there and torture things for the silly accomplishment of saying, I'm here. Yep, I'm still here. I'm here. Here. I'm here. Don't you see how important it is? I'm here. Look, I'm here. Don't you see me? I'm here. No. Not worth it, asshole.
Okay, and half of it would start to get pretty miserable. And they'd crawl somewhere quiet to die. And have or if some animals eat some poison bark and take themselves out. Or just give up the will.
Oh, yeah, so again, so he has the magical, they could go chew some bark. I mean, this is like it's easy to kill yourself. Just jump off a building or blow your brains out with a gun. And if you're an animal, you just chew on some bark. And yeah, it's all okay. So he has a magical bark theory. He thinks most animals, when they know they're going to die, they go chew some fucking bark. He thinks this is reality. And parameciums do that all the time. You always see parameciums running over to the tree to eat the bark. Fuck.
Live and stop eating on purpose. Various ways we have of going out of this life. That's why suicide should be legal. That's a part of how life can be good, so you can decide when, look, I can see this isn't going to get back to...
No, the point is things shouldn't have to decide in the first place. It shouldn't be an obligation because you don't have no right to impose the risk in the first place. You're not smart enough. You're not competent. You've proven that in your own life grotesquely. In a preposterous failure, you've proven just how stupid a fallacy it is that you can control this game. Okay? And it has harsh and brutal liabilities tied to it. And you just keep pretending it's no problem. You know. If your daughter would have died of cancer slowly and miserably, would your opinion be any different? Would you have learned anything at all?
Where I need it to be for me to enjoy it. And if having a view like this makes you wonder if you should kill your pets, then that's a problem. That's a reason right there.
No, we know what the problem is. The problem is you delusional fuckheads who have no excuse for enslaving biologicals to your needs. You have no excuse. It's a rape of their existence, especially when you think about what you're doing to them. So if an alien species came to the Earth and they cut our nuts off and made us pets, little things they play with to entertain them, they played hopscotch with us or some kind of bullshit. And yes, we caught into it because we didn't know any better. Because, we were kept ignorant. So we didn't know that we had a better life we could have had. We're just going to live the simpleton life of a eunuch. You'd say that's okay. It's okay. That's a good life for a human being. It's a good life. Do you live as a eunuch for an alien? That would be a good life. Fuck you.
Yeah.
So anyway, no reason to his argument at all. Just more emotional crap. You can't do philosophy, quite obviously. You can't pay attention. That's his real problem. Everything's, you took speed reading or something. Everything's just a cursory view at any subject. He doesn't really think about it. You can see that in the way he's talking, right? Well, the animal, maybe it could get sick for 5 months, but then it go chew some bark, and he's just making up as he goes along. He hasn't really thought about what it's like, what the average scenario is, how many of these animals exist. He hasn't done any of he hasn't paid any attention. He's just making up a fable that it's somehow all okay. That all these little animals are all going to find some perfect little loving home and everything will be just fine. They're not going to get, harassed and brutalized, and if they run away, then they're going to live on the street. No, that's not going to happen. And we know it happens every fucking goddamn day.